Good morning. Today I was going to make some lemon verbena simple syrup, and I thought it would be an interesting process to film. Marcus and I have really been getting into making cocktails, and I had lemon verbena growing wildly out of control in the garden, so I thought it would be kind of a neat addition to our little accoutrement section when we start making cocktails. So he does just typically make normal simple sugar with just water and sugar, but lemon verbena will add sort of a different flavor complexity to the drinks that we make. So I'm excited to try it out. I'm thinking maybe a gin and tonic tonight will be perhaps the first use of it. So all right, so I've moved the camera angle here so that it's easier to see everything that I have. So this is going to be a pretty small batch. This is this small container. This is actually an old honey jar that I'm going to use. It is plastic and it is clean. And we're going to just do 1 total cup of simple syrup. So for that, I'm going to need the half cup measuring cup, and we're going to do half a cup of sugar, half a cup of water. So I'll get that in here really quick. Sugar. And water. So whenever you're making simple syrup, it is just a 50-50 ratio, and then you can do kind of whatever additional flavors you want to add to that. So I'm going to go out and pick some verbena really quickly, so I will be right back, and I'll take you along to show you that also. Alright, so I'm going to prune the lemon verbena, and the way that you want to do this is cut it down. Don't just strip the leaves off. You want to actually cut it down and prune it so that it grows more. So you can see right here, this is where I pruned it about a month ago or so. There's this dead piece, and then it actually shot off 3 new stalks. So that's how you're going to get it to grow a lot quicker. And basically just going to, I need about, I think, 1/4 to 1/2 cup of leaves for this. So I have my kitchen shears, and I'm just going to snip off some new growth. And the more you prune this, actually, the faster it grows, so it can get kind of overwhelming over time if you use it a lot, because it just keeps growing. So, which is great. I've taken quite a few cuttings off of it already this year. So I've got 4 sprigs. That should be about enough. And then I'll take these in, rinse them off, and then strip all the leaves. Alright, so I'm back with my lemon verbena. I did rinse this also, so I've got 4 sprigs here. It only calls for about 1/4 cup, so this is extra, but I may use it for something else later today that I'm baking also. So I've got my water and sugar just in my pan, and then I'm going to strip off what looks like about 1/4 cup of leaves. This is not exact. It's kind of whatever floats your boat. The more you put in there, the stronger the flavor is going to be. So don't worry about overdoing it. I mean, you can overdo it if you put like 3 cups of leaves in here, but use your judgment. And you should be good. So I think about probably 3 sprigs. And it doesn't say in the recipe that I have, it doesn't say packed or loose, it just says about 1/4 cup. So that's about what I've got. I'm just gonna chuck those right in there. And then I'm gonna turn this on. And then I have a little whisk. This is a nonstick pan, so I'm just going to be very careful since it's a metal whisk and a nonstick pan, just to give it a little agitation. And then you'll want to let this come to a boil and simmer. You do not want it to go to a heavy or a rolling boil. You just want to get it hot enough for long enough that the sugar fully dissolves into the water. All right, so it's come up to a simmer, so I'm going to stir it until it looks like all of my sugar has been incorporated into the water. And you want to let it simmer for about a minute or so, not too long. It has, I turned it down onto low. There we go. So this is at about half, about the number 4. And I'm just going to let it simmer for a little bit. And then we're going to turn the heat off, move it off the heat, and then let it sit for about a half an hour. All right, so it's been about a half an hour. So I'm going to decant from here into my little jar. So I did end up putting just a couple pieces of lemon rind in there because I was doing something else with lemon, so and I had a few extra pieces of rind. You can kind of see this is sort of a, like it's still liquidy, but it does have a syrupy consistency to it, so that's what you're looking for. So first I am going to get all of the leaves out of here. You could use a sieve or something like that. We actually don't have a little one, and these leaves are big enough that I can just spoon them out. So one thing that you can do to help preserve this a bit longer is to put some vodka in here. You do not need a lot, so when I say put some vodka, it's more like a splash, and that will just help the syrup to keep for a bit longer. You'll notice as simple syrup gets older, it does tend to cloud, so that's when you know it's not really doing its best anymore. So I'm going to use some Tito's, and I'm actually going to pour it into my spoon so that I know how much I'm putting in here. So, tiny little bit. And then I'm just going to gently stir that just to incorporate it. And that's done. So this is cool enough that I'm going to put it in here. And I did grab a funnel because I don't trust myself to not make a huge mess. And then I'm just going to pour this straight on in. And then you do want to store this in the refrigerator. And any recipe that calls for simple syrup that you might want something a bit special for, there you go. So we will probably use this up within maybe 2 weeks or so, realistically. Oh, there is a beverage that Marcus and I have been looking at making. It's a gin, kind of like a gin lemon lime mixed drink. So we'll try that. If I remember to film it, maybe we'll film it and you can kind of see what we might use this for. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you thought this was a fun video, and subscribe if you want to see more random things in the kitchen. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.